Parco Courage Faith. Today we have an all new series, which is called Acts. And we're going to be looking at the book of 1 Samuel, beginning in verse 1. Now, in this text, we see Elika, and he has two wives. One is Penina, and another is Hannah. Now, in this text, we see that, Penina was able to have kids, but Hannah is not. And Hannah feels that some way that, it's a misfortune, which it is. And Hannah is treated with love by Elika, but she feels like, the situation is very, it's unfortunate. And the person it talks about, it says, because the Lord had, because in verse 6 it says, because the Lord had closed Hannah's womb, her rival kept provoking her in order to irritate her. So Penina was like talking with her and saying like, okay, you see me having all these kids, you don't have any. And she was, just, doing her bad. See, Penina is, agitating Hannah, but Hannah continually has faith. And the person who actually closed up a womb was God. And so a lot of times God will allow you to go through situations and you'll go through things that you feel that are frustrating, but He's strengthening you. He's, strengthening your faith. Your faith has to be tested. One thing I've learned about working out is you don't gain strength from having strength. You have to lose strength to gain strength. What I mean by that, when you start lifting weights, you get weak. And then days later, you're stronger than when you began it. And she continued to move with faith. And, although the situation was very difficult, I'm pretty sure she felt like, man, like, why am I keep going to this temple and asking to see something that as, I may need a miracle for it to actually happen. But, consider this, continue to ask, keep asking, continue to put God first. Don't give up on what you believe in. As we read the text, we get to a part in verse 12, which says, as she kept on praying to the Lord, Eli observed her. Eli was, the person at the temple. He observed, he was the priest. He thought, maybe she drunk, something wrong with her. She continued to come up here and she run her mouth and maybe something wrong, but nothing was wrong with her. And a lot of times people are gonna see you, when you have dreams, you have these goals, you have these ambitions. Sometimes they can't see what you trying to do because they're stuck with how they see themselves. So they may say, hey, you shouldn't do this because, maybe I can't achieve it and you can't do it. So they may say, well, why you think that you can do all this? But you should think, because God's with you and God does reward those who trust Him. And so as we read this text, we see now Eli, he thinks she is drunk. So she in verse 15 says, not so, my Lord. Hannah replied, I am a woman who is deeply troubled. I have not been drinking wine or beer. I was pouring out my soul to the Lord. Do not take your servant for a wicked woman. I have been praying here out of my great anguish and grief. How many times do we talk about things versus praying about things? And I think sometimes it's easier to talk about it than pray, because we're like, the thing about it was, the ironic part was, God was the person that had closed her womb. He was at fault for, her situation. She didn't do anything, but she's also asking the same person who had put her in that predicament for help and to grant her, what she had requested. And I think sometimes we look at our deficiencies and we say, well, this is how it's supposed to be. No, you ask God and petition Him and continue to push and want more. And as we see, she continued to petition God. And let's read this text. Early the next morning, they arose and worshiped before the Lord, and then went back to their home at Ramah. Elkanah made love to his wife Hannah, and the Lord remembered her. So in the course of time, Hannah became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She named him Samuel. So after a period of time, she got her reward, but she continued to petition. And so what I'm saying is, continue to ask God, continue to believe that you can achieve whatever goal it may be, and continue to believe in yourself and trust that God. Continue to keep asking. A closed mouth will get fed. So you gotta continue to ask, continue to want more, and ask yourself, what can I do to help my situation? Sometimes it may be just sitting back thinking and just going over some things of how to manage money, maybe how to manage time, and you got to use all them things so you can better yourself as a person, as an individual. So continue to ask. So I'll be posting a new video next week part 2 of Acts. So those who are new to this channel, I normally post on either Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. And if you are watching the video and you maybe you ask for some things and it haven't happened yet, continue to ask and continue to push forward and continue to believe, continue to have faith. And if you don't know God, this is the opportunity. One time I didn't know God, and it's nothing about, it's like, I think sometimes people make it feel like you gotta do all these different things to ask God in your life, but all you gotta do is say, God, I want you to come into my life and forgive me for all my sins. And just like that, he comes into your life. And it's a process though of you learning about him and you growing closer to him. And it's just like any relationship is built over time. And so, hey, trust God, believe in him, and I'm gonna see you next week.